All right, all right, all right. Welcome to the Tuesday night principled Chiro broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's exciting call with Dr. Bill Bazin. But before we get to Bill, guys, DE is upon us here. Let's get those dates up there. There they are. Please join us for DE in there. January 12th to the 15th in Clearwater. We're approaching December 1st here. So that's like 6 weeks away, guys. And you got Christmas and New Year's in there. And we got to get this thing hooked up here. Then we're heading to Sarasota, Florida, April 13th through the 16th, and then back to Atlanta for July and October. Guys, get registered at lifede.com, and we'll get you guys registered. The hotel cutoff for this Clearwater one, the hotel, the discounted rate on that awesome hotel right on the Gulf is December 9th. So I think it's like December 1st this week. So that's like next week, next Saturday. So you got till next Saturday to get your hotel room. Where's my finger over there? Let's get there to that. Nope, still over there. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah, so get registered. At least get your hotel if you're coming. Going to be a huge DE. A lot of people coming to this one. This is going to be a big one, guys. Clearwater's beautiful. We were just there with the FCS in November, and it's a great hotel, great area. We're going to have a great time, guys. You don't want to miss it. Also, December 9th, it's the hotel cutoff for DE, but it's also the GCC's casino night. So casino night is coming for the GCC. It's going to be, what is that, Friday, December 9th? I believe so. So if you're in the Georgia area, I'm flying in from Florida to come to it. It's going to be a great time, great speakers, and a lot of fun. So if you're in the area that weekend, come on by the GCC casino night. On to tonight's call. We've got a veteran of DE here. He's been coming to DE for several decades. Palmer grad, 37 years in practice. So, this guy's been around and probably has some great knowledge to drop on us tonight. He lives very close to Judson, like 40 minutes from Judson, over in Massachusetts, East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. So I'm excited to hear him share. He also just got reelected as the RA for Massachusetts for the ICA. So big guy coming at you here, guys. Give it up for Dr. Bill Bazin. Bill, thank you so much for doing this. Love and appreciate you, brother. Take it away.
Hey, Brian, thanks for that great introduction. I just got to say, first of all, this is way past my bedtime on a Monday night or Tuesday night, but I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for Andy Harding for inviting me. That DE that we had back in October was a really big healing time for me, which I'm going to get into. A lot of stuff is going on in my life, and DE always brings it home, really brings you back to reality. First of all, my story in chiropractic, like Brian said, I graduated in 1985 from Palmer. I played rugby. I played hockey. I was in Pi Kappa Chi fraternity while I was there. So I was pretty involved in my school. But my story starts way before that. My dad graduated from Palmer in 1962. And prior to that, in 1958, way before my dad went to school, my sister was born. And she was vaccinated at 18 months. And back then, vaccine injuries weren't really a thing. But sure enough, she was injured by a vaccine. And they took her to the hospital. Hospital said, "You're not going to make it through the night. Take her home and get her comfortable." My grandfather at the time was seeing a chiropractor. And believe it or not, it was in New Hampshire. They lived in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And chiropractic was illegal in Massachusetts until 1966. So my dad took my sister to New Hampshire. They adjusted her atlas, and the next morning she was a normal kid. So my father, having some big guts, packed the car, moved to Iowa, and became a chiropractor. And I happened to be born while I was, my dad was in his last year of school. And subsequent to this, my dad was also a pallbearer at BJ's funeral, which was at the Masonic Temple back then. So my chiropractic story started long before I was even born. And it just brings me a lot of passion for what I do every day in the office, which I'll get into. My DE story started when I started going to Parker a few years after I graduated. And I always loved to hear Jim Sigafus when I went to Parker, and he would go on and on about mission trips and things like that. So I actually went on a mission trip to Panama. I believe it was in the late 90s, where I met some awesome people, including Anna Hughes was in my group. And I always loved listening to Anna speak on these Tuesday night calls or at DE, listening to her either in person or on the MP3 downloads I listened to. But Anna Hughes was in my group in Panama. So after Panama, I had to keep the spiz going. So I started going to DE back then. And man, there were 2,000 people at DE back then. It was incredible. Just the energy that was there. I also met Sid for the first time back in, I believe, 1983 when I played rugby for Palmer. We took a bus trip down to Life, and we got to meet Sid right in his office. And just the other day, I was looking at a picture of Sid and myself during the Centennial 1995 when he was in Davenport. So DE, especially the October one, was a healing time. I'm going to get into that in a little bit, the story that happened just before that. But one of the things I really realized at the last DE is that everyone is really a family there. And I heard, I think it was Ryan Dobbs, one of the calls the other day. I mean, one of the MP3s I was listening to said, these people I'm closer to these people at DE than I am to my own family. And I can really see that. We have really like minds and similar goals. And man, as we all know, during this whole crisis in the past 2 years, a lot of families have split because of things that were believed. But that's what really grounds me when I get to go to D and just hug people and love on people who are just like us. So I'm very grateful for the DE family. I love these Tuesday night broadcasts, even if I'm not staying up all the time, I'll listen to them later on. I always love to get the downloads too, listen to them in my car everywhere I go. And we may not always agree on everything, but we love each other unconditionally. And that's really what family is. And I'm happy to be with my DE people any chance I get. A couple of stories regarding that. And my wife could tell you a lot of times when I'm behind the wheel of a car, I'm like a different person. And I really realized that. How can you love, give, serve in the office and then hate every slow driver? And I really kind of prayed on that. And we're all probably guilty of it. I mean, I live in a town of 10,000 people. We have a rotary here in town that has 7 roads that come into one. So you're always going to get cut off, but everyone has their own cross to bear. And I'm realizing more and more, I just got to get into that loving, giving, serving mentality 100% of the time, not just when I'm in the office. And it shows with family as well. And Brian Lieberman told a story. Did you ever hold the door for somebody and they didn't say thank you? So it's like, well, it's not on you. You just have to love, give, and serve unconditionally. And every time you go to DE, it's going to be a new experiencing for you. People always talk about shedding husks and things like that. But when you hear something at DE, it may strike you differently than it will at a different time in your life because you're different. You're going to hear it differently. But the important thing is to keep improving and keep going forward. And whether it's shedding husks or just reaching new goals, setting new goals, one of the things I do when I sit at a seminar is I just write ideas that come into my head. And they're always flowing when you're in that loving environment, whether you're grabbing a tissue because Paul is telling a story or laughing because Lizzie Rassel is making you laugh. It's just a great way to open your mind, just to sit there and listen and pay attention. One of the thought flashes that I want to share that happened last time I was there, and I don't know who said it, but somebody talked about a chiropractic success bell. Now, if you're newer in practice, like Brian said, I've been in practice 37 years. I wish I had started this. This is a book. We put a bell on the wall, like a big ship bell, and we encourage people, go ring the bell, go tell your story. I'm just going to share a couple of stories here because, man, you just don't realize what comes across your door. We really do. I mean, I personally take a lot of things for granted. I expect people to get better, but what we're doing is life changing, and that's what really drives me is people that can't live the life that they were designed to do because of pain or because something's going on in their life. And I mean, just a couple of examples of that from this book. One of them, my daughter with Down syndrome sleeps better and has been very healthy since regular chiropractic care has been a part of her life. We have avoided many invasive procedures. Thank you a million times. And she might say that to me, but when I sit down and look at these testimonials, I mean, get one of these books, just put it in your put it by your front desk, put a bell up there. Just a great thing to do that you can look back on years later. We used to do it in a different way a long time ago, but I just threw it out there to my office. And Dr. Sarah, who's in Enfield, has been crushing it in Enfield. Same thing, books getting filled up with great testimonials. After years of stress and pain, neck pain, back pain, multiple migraine headaches, and finally not having any pain or headaches, absolutely amazed. And this is just a few months that I've been put this book up there. 3 years allergy free. If it wasn't for Dr. Bill, I would not have been able to continue my golf career. Been coming here for years because of anxiety. After some adjustments, they improved drastically, still coming in. Was totally reluctant to come in. How many times have we heard that? I don't know. I'm not sure about this. But when you have that faith, confidence, and belief, and you tell the story with confidence, people are going to stick with it. You know you can help them. It may not happen in one adjustment, but it's going to take some time. Was initially reluctant to come, but I can now breathe better, and the post-nasal drip has improved. Thanks to Dr. Bazin, I have much improved sleep and general health. This is a great one, too. I mean, this guy's been coming in for the last few months. Dr. Bazin has changed my life. I expected to be in pain for the rest of my life, and I would just have to deal with it. I thought back pain was just part of aging. Now I feel pain-free and 15 years younger. And this guy's only in his early 40s. Now the guy's working out like a fiend, feels unbelievable. I couldn't have gotten through some tough times of pain without Dr. Bill. But the last one, and this happens in our office all the time, but we have to be aware that we can make these changes about women getting pregnant. If we don't talk about it, then they won't understand that that's what chiropractic is. It's not about neck pain or back pain. It's about flipping that switch up here, which affects the vagus nerve, which is rest and digest and reproduce. My husband and I both have fertility issues. We were referred to Dr. Bazin by my mom, a longstanding patient of over 15 years. We did our last IVF treatment and got pregnant. This is a miracle. We believe Dr. Bazin has helped tremendously in this. I am now 14 weeks pregnant and with a baby girl, and I want to bring the baby in when she's born. So one of the things I'm really big on is being thankful every day. I have a journal that I write in. What am I thankful for that happened the last few days? The more that we get, the more that we're thankful for, the more that we'll receive. So getting back to that prior to DE the last time, you kind of, I mean, DE really brings you up, puts you in the right frame of mind, cleanses you. Before DE, this was on week of September 22nd or something like that. It was one of those weeks where people were dropping out of care. People were asking for refunds. You start feeling sorry for yourself. You get a week from hell. But the crazy thing is God has a way of waking us up. So it was a really, just to tell the story, my son is in a band, and they played a great show at this big festival on a Thursday night. There was probably 400 people there, and a couple of the people that were there come to every show, couple of 25-year-olds, just full of life. One black kid and a girl who was used to date the lead singer. So walking out of the show, hey, Dominique, we'll see you later. Take care. The next morning, I get a phone call. The two of them were in a head-on collision on 91, and both of them were killed. So you can imagine the air was let out of our office. Just devastating. Best friends with Brian. And like I said, God has a way of waking us up. You start feeling sorry for yourself when we know that we have a purpose that we're here for. And when we get distracted, things just start going south. We were down about 100 visits shortly after that. And I'm really happy to say going to DE and cleansing and healing within 2 weeks after that, we were 150 visits over what we were seeing even before that. So the mindset is really everything. Just going in the office with that loving, giving, serving mindset, doing your affirmations in the morning, and just, like I said, just being thankful every day. So I always try to give back. We only have one organization in our state called the Mass Chiropractic Society. And about 4 years ago, after being at DE, and they're saying, you got to get involved. So I decided to become a board member of the MCS. And pretty much Bob Mulcahy and I are the only two chiropractors on board. Well, there's a few other ones that help out, but it's so medically oriented. It was nauseating. Some of the continuing ed classes, rock taping and dry needling and nutrition and lasers. And oh my God, when can we get some chiropractic in here? So finally, I volunteered. I said, look, I'm going to have a class this fall, and I'm going to call it The Power of the Adjustment. I recruited George Curry to speak of chiropractic and mental health. He did an amazing job. And it's just giving back to the profession that way, teaching chiropractic, making the main thing the main thing. You can be so successful doing chiropractic. You don't need all the other stuff. And like, I'm speaking to the choir, speaking to the DE people, but we need to get more people like ourselves to come to these seminars. The other thing I did was join the ICA. I've been an ICA member for years, but I decided to step up and become the RA. And thanks, Brian, for letting me know that I actually won. The communication wasn't great. They sent an email out that said I was nominated. I assumed that I won the position, but just glad to be on board. I was at the last seminar in April and got a lot out of it. Very great seminar itself, but just going through and going to the meetings and learning how things run. My commitment for the ICA is there. I'm excited to go to Las Vegas in April and continue with that. So in closing, when you focus on something, you grow. A lot of people ask me, I'm 61 years old, when are you going to retire? I always say, well, I still got a daughter in college, but man, what the heck would I do besides this? This is not even a job. You go in there, you get up in the morning, you get yourself focused, you do a great job during the day, and then you can retire on the weekends if you really need to retire. But I love what I do, and I'm more fired up now than I was 20 years ago, for sure. So read your goals every day, do your affirmations. One of the things I'm big on too is learn how to adjust. If you're not confident in your adjustment, go to an adjusting seminar. Go listen to Tim Young. Tim Young was unbelievable at that seminar at Sherman. I mean, learn how to adjust, learn how to use your hands, learn a different technique, whether it's activator or the arthro stem. Learn different techniques, because not every patient is the same. You might have a patient that's 90. You might have a patient, like as today, I had a patient 90. I had a patient 2 months old. So as long as you're moving the bone and taking the pressure off the nervous system, get really good at what you're doing. And not only will you be successful, but you're helping humanity. And that's really what we're here for. So that's all I got for tonight. I'm really happy to be invited and excited that I was able to participate this evening.
Billy, great job, brother.
Thank you.
Yes, you won the RA election for Massachusetts.
All right.
Sorry
Unopposed.
that wasn't clearer, but yeah, you are the rep. So
All right.
congratulations on that. And way to step up as a board member for your state association. You know, we can always just complain, but you're going to step up to the table and work to make it better. And you know, Bob Mulcahy, he's a great friend of mine, and I'm excited to see what you two can do to get less dry needling and more chiropractic at your CE seminars.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it was a great message tonight. I'm seeing a lot of messages coming by the bottom here. So, thank you so much for being on. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Andy Harding will be our MC, and Dr. Alex Rubin from the Philadelphia area, one of the young guns at DE, will be our speaker. So, thank you so much, Billy, and I'll see you at DE, brother.
Sounds great, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night, everybody.